Hello everyone, Lau here. Welcome to Vlogmas day 22. It's the 20th, can't even say that word, 22nd of December. And finally, I watched the Rise of Skywalker in cinema yesterday. And yeah, this video will definitely be my review, what I liked, what I did not like. But I definitely want to start, as always, with opening up my advent calendars. So if you don't want to be spoiled, like any spoilers, then you can still watch my advent calendar opening, and afterwards I will definitely talk spoilers, because I cannot talk without telling the stories. Let's just open up my Disney Mickey Head Bauble advent calendar. Day 22. There are not many remaining doors which are still closed, but here is the one, 22. Oh, this is cute. It is rose gold, but it has some, what is this? Glue on it, but I can put that off. Yeah, it's rose gold. Very nice color, and the gold bow, or yellow. Simple, but I like it. Let's put it at the other side, which I told you yesterday, which is not much, yeah. Next to Snow White. And okay, quickly opening up this advent calendar, because I think I will be talking about the Star Wars movie a lot. So let's get quickly through this. Sometimes I think I'm super dumb. Ah, here. Cannot find the number. Here it is, 22. And we've got a Star Wars pin. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice touch for the video where I'm talking about Star Wars. We've got R2-D2. That's cute. I mean, you cannot do anything wrong with R2-D2. He's cute anyways, and this is an even more stylized version. Definitely a nice touch. He was also in the movie, so that's a good start. Yeah, I think I do not have an R2-D2 pin on my EDAP bag, so yeah. Happy with that. Okay, yeah. I tried to pull off a little bit of a Star Wars touch already with like my Rey hairstyle, with my Ahsoka Tano sweatshirt, with my Millennium Falcon necklace, and with my lightsaber. Maybe I start every video where I'm talking about Star Wars with a lightsaber, so everyone just recognizes that this is about Star Wars. Yeah, yesterday in the early afternoon I watched the movie, and I can like just tell you I liked it. I liked it a lot. I was super overwhelmed like in the movie afterwards. That's why I could not film a video yesterday. I was like all over the place. My head was like, I can't start talking about this. That's why I slept the night on it. Watched some other reviews which also yeah, shaped my thoughts a little bit more, which I already had from the beginning. And now I've written down like a couple of hundred notes to get me like organized. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. There was not a single moment where I was bored or anything, but still there were like, of course, there were major plot points where I'm like, huh? Really? Okay. Which I don't like so much. But honestly, just to tell you from the beginning, I'm not someone who's questioning things like a lot. I still can like think I don't like a special thing, but then when it is in the movie, then it is in the movie, and it has happened, then it is like as if it is history, and I believe it and I'm going for it, and then it is okay. Let's just start getting through it a little bit more like in order. Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker. I watched it in German, so Der Aufstieg Skywalkers, and I'm still not really knowing what the title means. I'm not someone who's good at interpreting and stuff, but it could be like, I mean, either it is because there was not an actual like Skywalker rising. It could mean because the only living Skywalker was still like Ben, so Kylo Ren, that he was rising, or that Rey, like in the end, she decides to become like, or to get the name Skywalker, that is her rising, or it's just like general because we are closing the Skywalker saga. That's why it is called like that. The title is never really clear to me with the Star Wars movies. And yeah, starting with the opening crawl, you directly get thrown into the one major plot point, which is like a little bit concerning. We all knew that Palpatine would come back in some form or shape, because we've heard him laugh, we've heard him in the trailers and everything, and it was clear that it was Palpatine involved. But it was right in the beginning, like the first sentence, like in German it was "Die Toten sprechen," like the dead are talking. There was a voice heard of Emperor, like old Emperor Palpatine in the galaxy from everywhere, and yeah, somehow everybody knew he was coming back, or he was back. Okay, so you were directly thrown into this, which I think is good. It was just one sentence and you knew, okay, he's back. Explanation? Not really. Yeah, what I don't really like about this thing is like, okay, it makes kind of the, like episode 6, the end of episode 6, like Vader sacrificing himself to kill off Palpatine, makes it a little bit, it diminishes it a bit, so not a bit, but a lot, because he was not dead, well, he's just back. Okay, but I still like, what I like about this, that it's Palpatine being the puppet master behind everything, is that it kind of, like, I like it. He was also the voice in Ben's head, he was the one creating Snoke, so we got our Snoke, the reason why was Snoke, he was created by Palpatine. We definitely saw those clones or whatsoever there, the Snoke looking in the glass, you know. We got the answer for that, which is okay, and I'm also okay with like that he was the puppet master behind everything, because this is how he is, and he planned everything all the time. This is how Palpatine is, and I like it. So I'm okay with him being back, although some scenes were, we will come to that, a little bit overdone in my opinion. And yeah, it also already starts with he has this giant fleet of old Star Destroyers, which everyone in the trailers was right. It's not First Order Star Destroyers, it's the old class. And yeah, every single of those Star Destroyers actually is a planet killer. So, okay, we've got like now hundreds and thousands of planet killers, which is like, okay, another super weapon. But honestly, this was not the big plot point. I mean, we had it like back in our head, but it was not really the thing that they had now planet killers again. That was not the big thing, which is okay, so I was okay with it. I almost forgot when I'm watching the movie that, okay, yeah, these were like planet killers, all those Star Destroyers. So that was not a big thing for me. It was, okay, he was back, he had this huge fleet, and okay, he needs to be destroyed somehow. That was right in the beginning, you were thrown into, I like that. Yeah, and then we're like definitely with all the different like people from the Resistance. So the first mission where like Poe and Finn were both together, finding out about the First Order spy, which then later on turns out to be Hux, which I liked. I was like, wow, because at one single moment I had like this callous moment, you know, from Rebels, because I was like, oh, cool. And then immediately, when Hux explained why he was a spy working like for the resistance, because he was not really for the resistance, he didn't care about the people from the resistance. He just wanted to like defeat like Kylo Ren. He wanted Kylo Ren to be defeated. So that's not a good point, I think. So he deserved to die. He died very, very fast then. But anyways, the beginning was nice. We had this small mission, then we had Rey and Leia training. Like Leia gave like Jedi training to Rey, which was so good. I felt like immediately when I showed this that okay, now it is official that Leia is like she's training Rey. Rey was not trained by both Skywalkers, Luke and Leia, and that Leia has. We already knew that she has these Force abilities, but she also could train someone. This made Leia a little bit of a Jedi herself already. And later on in the movie, we also got to know that Luke and Leia were training together when they were younger. Leia had a lightsaber, and this makes me so happy. This was one when I saw them, when they showed the like younger expressions like of Luke and Leia again fighting with lightsabers in the when they showed what has happened. I really liked that. I was so happy because this was also something I think that we had like in the expanded universe before, that Leia also was trained by Luke, and then we had it just a little bit in the new canon. But I really like that, so this makes me happy. And the training sequence was also cool, but then like all come together, and it's kind of they have a struggle with like BB-8 was a little bit damaged, and the Falcon was damaged, and I liked that the big three, which we now have like Rey, Finn, and Poe, they were all together. They were talking. They were a little bit of fighting because, and it's human that they and also in this resistance, there's not everything happy. I mean, that's not happy. I mean, you know, but they are not all get along super well and everything. So that was also something human, which I liked. And yeah, with the like knowing that there's this First Order spy, and they got this information of this like they need the Pathfinder, and there's this planet. Honestly, this is the planet name that the only one that I can recognize or that I can remember is this Exegol. Everything else I don't know the names of. I don't have the visual dictionary yet. So I don't know the planets' names, probably a lot of character names, I don't know. But Exegol, I can remember that. Somehow it stuck into my head, probably was like said like over and over again, so that's why I know it. And yeah, and they had to go on the mission together, which I liked. So it was like then Finn and Poe and Rey and 3PO. There was a lot of 3PO in the movie, which I liked because 3PO is my favorite droid. And of course like BB-8 and did I forget anyone? I think I forgot Chewie. I forgot to say Chewie. Oh, I like Chewie so much. Okay, but why did Rose not come with them? This is something that like kind of bothered me. I mean, they talked about it that no, I need to stay here. I need to analyze some things of the Star Destroyers for the general, blah blah. But this gave like Rose such a small role in the movie. I mean, I'm okay with not more main characters being, because it was already crowded with a lot of characters, new characters, a lot of the main characters, a lot of planets. I mean, the movie was packed, really, which I don't think is a bad thing. I liked it. It was going and good, but putting in another main character like Rose would have been even like fuller. But at the same time, I did not like that she had such a small role. It almost felt like they were paying attention to Rose not being liked from some of the so-called fans in The Last Jedi. So they wanted to bring her more in the movie. I don't know if this is true or not, but for me it felt like this. So she was all the time on the planet where the Resistance had its base, like this jungle planet. This kind of wet jungle planet where everyone's hair was curly. I mean, Rey's hair was super curly. Even Chewie's hair was so curly on that planet. Anyways, that's something that just noticed. So she had just a small role, same kind of as the role of like Dominic Monaghan. I don't know his character name. Was he really important? Could not have like Connix have his role? I don't know why they brought more characters. It just made Rose's role even smaller. But I like Dominic Monaghan, I like seeing him. And yeah, it was probably because, you know, JJ likes to bring like his friends and people he has already worked with, and you know, Morgan wasn't Lost and JJ Abrams did Lost, so he probably brought him in there. That's why, I don't know. Anyways, our main crew started to like this mission to find the Pathfinder, because they had some notes from Luke, from his books. I really liked that because it was like a hunting for more clues to find. What I really liked that, a little bit of like I don't know, like not really treasure hunting, but it was a little bit, because then they found this dagger. They were on different planets. Lando, sorry, I didn't know what I wanted to say, right? They met, who did they met? They met Lando. And I honestly really liked Lando's role in the movie. When that was announced that Billy Dee would come back, it was like maybe they just brought him back because he was one of the last ones of the original big main characters left. But I think I liked him. He was not overly important in the movie, but it was pleasant to see him. Really, I liked Lando in the movie. Anyways, then there was this whole plot point which I kind of honestly not really can't figure out right now, that on this planet where this celebration happened with all the colors and whatever, I like 3PO talking about it is very well known for its great colors and sweets. Nice. Sorry. I like, as I said, I like that 3PO was so much in the movie because he's my favorite droid. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing that on this planet they found Lando. Lando told him that Luke and Lando were once on this mission to find this Exegol planet, or the Pathfinder, and then they lost track of this guy with his ship, and the ship of this guy was still in the desert there on this planet, and on this ship were also Rey's parents, and Rey's parents, I was at first when they like said something about like Rey's parents and blah blah blah, and Rey doesn't have a last name again, I was already immediately thinking, oh no, they will bring it up again, that Rey's probably not nobody. And it was like this. Anyways, about this whole thing was like a little bit confusing to me, and then I found like I found this dagger which had this like this cis speech, and this was a little bit a lot, but I kind of liked it because it was this like finding clues and hints, and then it led to this, and I like that. So it was like an adventure with all our beloved characters together. So I like that. That was a part which I really enjoyed, although it was like kind of confusing for me. As I said, the movie was kind of all over the place with all those major main plot points, and so much. The movie was so much. What did I write down next? Let's just check. Yeah, as I said, that all this, the dagger. Then they had to go to the other planet. To the other planet where Poe knew someone who could translate from 3PO's head, who could change it in the droid. That they could get this speech of the Sith speech. Sith language translation, and they went to that planet, and they met Zori Bliss, which is really cool character. The only thing that was a little bit strange is that Poe once was a spice smuggler. I mean, why not? Cool, but when? I thought Poe was in the New Republic, maybe before. I mean, maybe he was in between. Maybe he was in the New Republic, maybe, and he was also a smuggler in between, because the Republic did not pay him much, or I don't know. It was a little bit strange. I mean, I'm super okay with he being some little bit shady also to him, but it did not really match up what we already knew from books and comics and everything. Doesn't matter. Because I liked the people on that planet, so Zori Bliss, the small Babu Frick, is it the name? He was cute. And the cutest was when he was like speaking like basic in his like super like accent. So cute. Sorry. This I don't know. Do all the small creatures are just so cute? I don't know. Yeah, I liked this mission there that I found out, and oh, I guess so much happened. I can't really remember everything. And I was like, oh, they wipe out like 3PO's memory, but honestly, this has happened to 3PO before, you know. And I was like, okay, everything that came afterwards when 3PO had no memory was very funny. I don't know. And I honestly did not exactly like that when they got back and R2 put the old memory, which of course he had saved, back into 3PO. That was kind of, I find it kind of funny when 3PO did not have his memory, but no. Yeah, all this part, which then let the people go to one of the Endor moons, where the Death Star wreckage was, and they met up with what's her name? Did I write it down? I forgot. As I said, I'm not good with the names. Like, I have watched it once and have not really any like material where I can look it up. Jenna, I think Jenna is her name. I liked her, and I really liked the story that Finn was not the only stormtrooper which was like defecting. Is it defecting? You know, not the only stormtrooper questioning the First Order, and that there were others like him, and they all freed themselves from the First Order, and they are now living there. And that was kind of cool, especially because I heard like a lot of like theories of people saying like there might be a stormtrooper uprising, because like a lot of like, if the stormtroopers, like all of them as Finn, would have had like started like an uprising or revolution or whatsoever against like the First Order, this would also have a huge impact, and it would have made sense. So we kind of had this in this like this. There are other groups of stormtroopers who are like they freed themselves from the First Order. So I liked her, and I liked those horse creatures, but yeah, it was not a major thing. It was cool, but what was even more interesting, on this planet there we had the Death Star wreckage, and and that led me to the big plot point, which was again something which was like, I mean, this was the one thing which led me to really be sitting in a movie with like Rey Palpatine. Rey is a Palpatine. Okay, the granddaughter of Palpatine himself. When did he have children exactly? I need explanations. Please fill me in with explanations. All those Star Wars authors, story group, everything. When? Before he got Chancellor? During the Clone Wars? Afterwards? When he was already the Emperor? Don't want to think about this, but kind of he produced children, and so Rey was his granddaughter, and I was like, okay, from Rey being nobody to becoming Empress Rey was a little bit of it was a shock, honestly, because I think it also does not match up with the last movie, so it generally feels like it's now 3 completely different things, or at least 2 completely different things, because The Last Jedi does not fit in there, or like JJ did not pay attention to what was in The Last Jedi, same as Rian Johnson maybe did not really pay attention to what was in The Force Awakens, so it makes absolutely clear that there was no real storyline in the beginning, like from the beginning when they planned the movies, and like every author or director made his kind of its own thing. And I mean, as I said, I'm okay with it. Rey from her parents, and now we know that she comes from Palpatines, and I'm okay with it now. It is as it is, as if it was history. It was written in history. It has happened. This is how it is. But all the rest was like, So this was like a little bit not my favorite, and I can see a lot of people having problems with this. And I'm not complaining. It's like this. Coming to, like, of course, Kylo Ren chasing Rey all the time, and they still had this Force connection, and then they were like, and on the Death Star wreckage they were fighting. These were great fights, great fight sequences. But the more important thing which happened then is like the one point which made me start to cry, and from that point then I kind of cried a lot during the movie, was like they were fighting, and Leia, being on the other planet, decided to, like, I don't know how you could explain this, but she, together with Rey, they kind of saved Ben. Leia died, which Kylo Ren immediately, like, recognized. Also Rey felt it through the Force. And with Leia's death, Ben, or Kylo Ren, struggled, and Rey felt this as well. And this was also the moment she could, like, kill him. I mean, he was like deadly wounded by Rey, and in this moment it's really like Leia together with Rey, they killed Kylo Ren. And then we saw again, which I have not talked about before, but Rey has these Force healing powers which you didn't know before, only from the Mandalorian before. And she uses her ability to give her a little bit of her own Force power, living Force, into the other person or thing which is wounded, and she does this with Ben. And from this moment on, like, she saves him, like she kind of killed him and saves him again, so that actually she killed Kylo Ren and saved Ben Solo. So from this moment on, we really had Ben Solo in the movie, which was great. And like this moment, like all this surrounding made me cry. Like, it was the first time I cried in the movie. And also, I don't really cry a lot in Star Wars movies, so it's kind of something special. And then Rey left him there, decided to go with like his tie, and let him there. And he has this, like, he sees his father, Han Solo, which is just a memory, but it's so like real, that he relives kind of the moment from The Force Awakens when he actually kills his father, when he actually kills Han Solo again, and it really mirrors that scene. I was really surprised that Harrison Ford was again in the movie, which I liked. I heard other people say that probably this part would have actually been Leia's part, which of course this theme they couldn't recreate with old material from like what was left from Carrie Fisher. By the way, what they achieved with like old material of like Carrie Fisher to bring like still bring Leia in the movie was really well made. If you would not know that Carrie Fisher has passed, you would never think that. You would just think she's in the movie because she was so much in the movie for that, so until then. But of course they could not make this scene with her, but that's what I also think it is really likely, and decided to go with again with Han Solo, which comes just out of memory of Ben, and it makes so much sense. It is so good to have like almost the same scene but with a different ending. He now decides to throw away his lightsaber, like Ben Solo, and from that moment on he is no longer Kylo Ren. Like, Kylo Ren's dead, and and we have Ben Solo, and he's great. He's really great in the movie. Then, like, so happy. And from that moment on, there were often scenes where I was like crying a little bit, and my eyes were a little bit watery all the time because of this whole surrounding. So this was something they really achieved so well in the movie. This, yeah, okay. I already almost forgot that Rey, like after that, she did not right away go to Exegol. She went to Ahch-To again, which makes sense because right at that moment she didn't have the Pathfinder or the way where she could go. She kind of didn't know that it was in the tie of Ben. I don't know. And anyways, on Ahch-To she meets Luke as a Force ghost, which we kind of already knew Luke would appear as a Force ghost, and it was good that he did. So we had all the 3 big main characters from the originals in it. We saw Harrison Ford as Han Solo again, we saw Mark Hamill as Luke again, and we saw Carrie Fisher as Leia again. Like, not all together, which is a little bit of a bummer, of course, but when should have they be done it? But yeah, other than seeing Luke as a Force ghost on Ahch-To, I think this part was not so meaningful. Yes, we saw some porks again. No, yeah, can't really say much about this. But then she finds out she has the Pathfinder, which can let her to Exegol. And how she gets there, because she already sets the TIE fighter from Ben or Kylo Ren on fire. But remember, we saw in The Last Jedi that Luke's old X-Wing is there in the water, and Luke, as a Force ghost, pulls him out, which is, does Force ghosts have these abilities? So I think yes, because The Last Jedi also Yoda sets the tree on fire, and he's also just a Force ghost. So yeah, I think Force ghosts have these powers still. And then we see Rey sitting in Luke's old X-Wing with a helmet on, which made me so happy. I don't know, this short scene, she being in his old X-Wing with the helmet on, which was like a little bit reminiscent of like in The Force Awakens. She pulls this old X-Wing fighter from the Rebellion a helmet on when she's dreaming of her being in bigger adventures or whatsoever. And now seeing her in the fight in the cockpit with Luke's helmet was really nice, was kind of heartwarming. And yeah, now she knows the way, like where to go to this Exegol planet, and she also transmits it to the Resistance. So now we have like all of them knowing where to go, which makes totally sense. And yeah, from that on, the movie, like, it is kind of the second part, which is so intense. Like, it is really, it felt like super intense. When she is then on Exegol, seeing the throne room, when you see like Palpatine there, being alive, uglier than ever, his hands. Amongst all those like hooded, what were they? Like, were they ghosts? Were they kind of Sith ghosts? That was really what I was questioning in that moment. What are they? Kind of a singing choir behind them, like as if they. I mean, they made sometimes these. They were singing like, oh, you know, as if they would sing like Duel of the Fates or something. But what were they? Are they Sith? Are they Sith ghosts? Are they alive? Are they just people from the planet? Cult people? What are they? Maybe it's just some Sith magic, and that's it. We don't need an explanation, or JJ didn't plan an explanation for what they were, these hooded people all around there. Yeah, and we had the big space battle, which totally went wrong because of course they were not enough. But these were like great moments, of course, because space battle, and we had Rey and Palpatine like on the planet. And one big moment which I really loved was when Lando returned with this giant fleet from people all over the galaxy, which followed the signal of the resistance to now really fight, and it's a lot of them, so they had a chance. This was also the moment when, from the trailer, when we got to see the ghost. But I would have loved to see like more familiar faces then, or not. I mean, I think I recognized the ghost in the movie again. I think 2 times maybe even. But then we were told that there's also the Colossus in, which I didn't see. And they could have shown some more like cameos, some more faces. Why not showing someone from the old like Ghost Crew, or someone from Resistance? I mean, the series Resistance, the Fireball, whatever. Or other people. I mean, we had what we had was Wedge. Immediately recognized him, also, which was kind of already set because we already knew that Dennis Lawson would be in there. Kind of knew, and which is also a lot in Resistance Reborn, so in the book that I'm reading, which then makes sense. But I would have loved to have more like familiar faces, more kind of cameos in there. This was a little bit of a bummer because when I thought like we have this huge fleet of like civilian people just from the galaxy against this huge fleet from Palpatine, this Sith fleet, let's call it like this, Last Order, what's it called? Anyways, with the Sith troopers, and anyways, the Sith troopers, were they interesting? No? Did we see them a lot? No? I could have lived without them. Yeah, but you need a new kind of stormtroopers in every movie, so that's it. Anyways, we have that moment, like, when it's kind of really confusing then, like with Palpatine and Rey, and also Ben followed them, fighting without his lightsaber against his Knights of Ren, and he was so great. I mean, and then he and Rey had this Force connection again. They were able to, like, although they were not together, to, like, she was able to, oh, I forgot to tell you, like, she had both lightsabers at this moment. She had Luke's, like, the Legacy lightsabers, and Leia's lightsaber. Leia had the lightsaber, I already, oh, I love that, I love that, I love that. And she is able to pass it over to Ben, although they're not in the same room. Great, so good. And then he was fighting the Knights of Ren, and she was kind of standing there with Palpatine, and this crazy thing, like, she needs to kill him to become the Empress, but then she does not kill him, which makes Palpatine able to throw the life out of then Rey and Ben together, which makes him stronger. But then this was so much back and forth, and I'm not even able to like understand everything. So this was maybe like a little bit much, but it seemed like Palpatine won, both laying on the ground dead. They were not, and then like Rey, like, see, like, the battle on top, they're kind of like losing it, and Ben seems to be like far away, thrown away by Palpatine, and Rey's kind of lying there, looking in the sky, looking through all of the fighting, and then up to just the stars. And that moment, I mean, immediately when you just see the stars with the like star constellations there, it immediately made me think of the World Between Worlds from Star Wars Rebels. And then we hear these voices. I mean, that is, for me, it is confirmed that this is part like of the World Between Worlds. That because remember when we saw Ezra walking through the World Between Worlds and Rebels, we also all heard those voices from former Jedi, from Obi-Wan, or also from Leia, and from, I think we even heard Kylo Ren like in there. And now having this also in the movie made me so happy. Like as my favorite podcast, Sky Talkers, would say, like, look to the animation department to see the future of Star Wars. It was like this. We heard all the voices from former like Jedi, and I, to be honest, did not recognize so many. I immediately recognized Anakin's voice. I immediately recognized Obi-Wan, and I thought I heard Qui-Gon, and that was kind of it. Because there's my problem with watching the movie in German, have watched a lot of Star Wars in German. So, for example, I recognize Anakin's voice actor, the German voice actor, immediately. Like, immediately. But then, like, I did not recognize that there were others in, like, Ahsoka. I just heard it from podcasts that her voice is in there. I did not recognize it. Sorry, Ashley Eckstein, was she really to be here in there? Okay, I did not hear that. Because I watched it in German, but I also know the German voice of Ahsoka, so I could have recognized that, but I didn't. And then it seems that Kanan's voice was also to be heard in there, which I never heard the German voice of Kanan, so how could I have known? I couldn't. So I definitely need to watch it in English again. As long as it's in the cinema, I need to find a cinema where I can watch it in original voice. But all this like made me happy that all these generations of Jedi now live in Rey. I mean, I don't know if it's like meant like literally. They are, all the powers of all the Jedi are in Rey now, and like Palpatine is all the Sith together, or if it's more meant to be like metaphorical. But they like then with their powers against each other, and she defeated him. But immediately in the moment when she like defeated him, like defeated Palpatine, I was like, who tells me now that he's really dead? Because he could come back from the dead, and why should not he come back like 5 years in the future? He's back again. Like, I mean, all these like always bringing people back from the dead opens doors to why he's not coming back anyways, again and again. But for now, for me, she, with all the generations of the Jedi power behind her, defeated the Sith, defeated Palpatine. Her life in this. I mean, she was dead, which was kind of a bold moment when I saw that, okay, they have really decided to like that she's dead, that Rey is now dead. She's lying there, and she, in fact, she was dead. And Ben, then, he was not dead there, getting back to her and also using this force healing, which was like more than force healing because she was already dead. What she did before, when I think of it, they were not dead yet. He was just healing wounds. Sorry for not being able to pronounce the word. Wunde. And Ben like gave all his life force to her, sacrificed himself to bring her back, to save her from the death, which is really what he fulfilled now, what Anakin wanted, what Anakin back then could not do, and he did it to sacrifice completely himself, which I think Anakin would not have done. He would not have killed himself to save Padme, because he wanted Padme, you know, to have Padme. And in this moment, Ben really sacrifices himself, gives his life for hers, and she comes back to life. And then all the Reylo fans out there, I'm happy for all of you that you got this this kiss. For me it was also okay. I'm not a Reylo fan, so I never thought that they would go like together in the sense of being in love, like sexually being in love, things like this. It was like, would not have been meaningful to me for them. But sure, they had this big like connection, and then he giving like all his force power for her to save her, and then they had this kiss, which was a good scene, which was not overdone, it was not kitschy, it was good. But then he just dies, like why? I mean, I can see why they did it. It mirrors again like Vader sacrificing himself for his son, he sacrificing himself for his loved, whatever. And how like he did so many like bad things as Kylo Ren. How would he be like able to live on with it? he could not just, I don't know, celebrate with all of them like the resistance. They won. They are not now again on the ground. They are celebrating and everyone's hugging and everyone's kissing. And we saw like two women kiss, which is like a great thing of like being like all over, like people like from every part like being represented. That's what I say, being represented in the movie. All these things, but how could have Ben like just gone down there and celebrate with them? No. So it's kind of like easier to just like kill him, like let him die there, and like, but it would have been interesting, right? If we would see like how is the galaxy now like going on with he alive, he being alive, he being back to being a good guy, but still with his like history of having like done so many bad things in the galaxy. That would have been interesting, and Rey and Ben together could have solved this, but yeah, he's just dead. And like through all this time I cried so much. Like I'm not even such a big fan of Kylo Ren, Rey, all the new characters. I'm more of a fan of the prequels, as I've told you, and the sequels are not so like impactful to me, have not been yet so impactful to me, but this like really got me, all of this. And although there were like these parts which I was like, really? Right, Palpatine? He's just back? There were certain things which I was like, also things like, oh, there is this Sith words on the dagger, and I was like, some things were just like so easy, which I was like, or some like, I don't know. But in general, it was, oh my god, I would not have expected me to come out of the cinema and be like, okay, I cannot even say anything right now because I'm just like perplexed. Anyways, what happened then? I need to like look down on my notes. Honestly, everything that I wrote down, because from that moment on, I think we have like one of the last scenes. I don't know what's maybe something in between, but the last scene is really Rey returning to Tatooine, which I think is good because it closes like the circle of the very first Star Wars movie, like starting on Tatooine, not directly starting on Tatooine, but you know what I mean. Tatooine has always been an important place. We go back to like, what is it called? Homestead, you know, where Luke grew up. And we have some of the same shots as Luke was in episode 4, like Rey looking down into this, Luke looking down into this, really like that. So all the atmosphere, which I did not really like, was this old lady then coming, like, was she supposed to be someone, or was she just supposed to be there like, oh, long time nobody was here, like this? Oh, I don't know what this old lady was meant to be. Is she meant to be someone? I don't think so. And again, I think she's just there to ask, like, well, who are you, Rey, and what's your last name? And I would have honestly thought that she again says, I'm just Rey. Of course she would not say, I'm Rey Palpatine. That would have been hilarious. But then she decides to say, I'm Rey. She sees Force ghosts of Luke and Leia, which of course warms my heart, but they could have shown more Force ghosts. Why not also show Anakin as a Force ghost, or why not show, like, that would have been incredible, right? Show more people, show also then Yoda again, maybe show Qui-Gon, but I mean, at least we got to see Leia again, like in this like white attire resembling her first appearance, and Rey decides to say Rey Skywalker, which I've heard now people definitely say they don't like that. I kind of like that she decides for like this name, although she's not of the lineage of the Skywalkers, and they don't need to be from the lineage, because I think although we had this now, Rey is probably someone, Rey isn't nobody, Rey is somebody. And again, we have like actually it does not mean anything from which like lineage you are. If you are a Palpatine, you can decide on your own what family you choose, who you are, like your lineage, your parents, whatever. It doesn't like give you like it still gives you an option who you are. If you are a good person, like your choices are your own choices, no matter what lineage you are. And I think this is still that she is somebody. Well, actually thought nobody, but now she chooses to be the one she wants. Like she was trained by Luke and Leia. Of course, she like puts the lightsabers away in the sand of Tatooine. Maybe they are found sometime. Anyways, and she has a new lightsaber. And I really liked how she just it's not a it's not a button. She had this kind of thing where she how is it called in English? Like a wheel that she threw, and then a lightsaber turned on, and it was, to me, it was yellow. I heard other people now say gold or light orange. Anyways, it was a lightsaber color which nobody has seen yet in the big movies. I wonder why they did that. Probably because they wanted to tell she is really someone else. She's not a Skywalker, although she chooses to take the name and go on with that legacy a little bit. She came from another lineage, like she came from the Palpatines, the bad guy to be, but she's someone else. That's why she's not a blue lightsaber, not a green lightsaber, but this other color, and I like that. I think the lightsaber looks really cool with the wheel, and I think from that moment on, I mean, we don't know what she does, but she will probably not give up being a Jedi. I think she will carry on her knowledge, maybe to other whatever. We don't know, but I think for me it felt like a good ending of the Skywalker saga. To there is no real living Skywalker anymore, but there is one who carries the legacy on, just chooses the name, and yeah. To me that felt like a good ending. To other people I heard it did not feel like a good ending. As I said, I liked the movie. There were some major plot points which I did not enjoy, but for me they are now as they are, and I'm totally okay. I mean, if I watch the movie second time or third, most often I watch the Star Wars movies in the cinema around 5 times, at least one time in English then. Maybe my view changes, maybe I see and recognize more things, but I think this is now probably an hour of me talking about this. Let's see how much I can edit out, but I don't want to restrain myself to not talk about what I want, because I love talking about Star Wars, and this is a big thing, it's a big thing. It's the last movie of the Skywalker saga. So now you know how I feel, and I hope, I would really be interested if anyone watched this until the end. Did someone? Okay. Anyways, have a nice day. May the Force be with you. And see you real soon. Bye!